right, jabronis, we're back. Hope everyone had a good week. I just got back from a week of training, so that was pretty cool. Got to spend a week away from actual work, which is very refreshing, to say the least. So got to learn some shit. It was a fun time down in the Bible Belt area, I guess you could call that, North Carolina. So good times all around. I did get back, though, some good news, I guess, or not bad news, but I did get back to see that my tomato plants are continuing to grow. There's still 10 left. 8 of them are growing. 2 of them are not growing, but they're not dying yet. So they're in a strange position. They're still fighting a good fight of some sorts. They're in a bit of a vegetative state, if you will. But the other 8 are still growing. It'll be a miracle. Look, if I get one tomato on any of those 8, if I can get one tomato before the winter, before the frost comes, we're having a party. I don't know what we're going to do. It's not going to be a pasta party because I'm not going to have enough tomatoes to make sauce, obviously, but we're going to do something. We'll have a celebration. We'll have a victory dance. I don't know what it's going to be, but let me tell you something. If we can get one damn tomato out of these fucking plants, sorry, T, it'll be an absolute miracle. The fact that they're still out there and green and growing is a miracle in itself. So good for the tomatoes. Let's, keep praying for them. Thoughts and prayers for the tomatoes. Anyway, that's all we got here today, folks. Now, should be a short one. I got back from a good training, and then I got immediately into a bad mood the same day I got back. I'm going to bitch about it in the junction, and I'm going to try to keep it short and sweet because we don't like the negativity. We try to keep things positive before we do any of that more negative shit. For the record, I did not mistakenly wear this shirt inside out today or any other day in the future. Embry Riddle does not deserve right side in clothing on this program until they get their shit together, which is going to be never. We all know it. So in protest, I like this shirt. It's comfortable. It's also a tank top. So I'm going to keep wearing it, but they don't deserve on the LPDS any sort of right side in type of wear. So don't at me with you're wearing shirt inside out, you're in shambles, are you depressed? Don't kill yourself. I'm fine. Okay. It's on purpose. Everything is purposeful here. Don't you worry about a thing. All right. But thank you for your concern. Embry Riddle. Thanks a lot. Anyway, before we start bitching, because I'm heated thinking about it, I'm reading through my notes. I try to write notes sometimes when I get heated to try to stay calm, cool, and collected. So it's not just a rant with no direction. And it's not going to go well today. I'm reading through the notes. I try to keep on task, and I'm already getting heated thinking about it. But anyway, let's just start things off positive a little bit. Besides the tomatoes, we'll just keep the positivity going a little bit longer, and we'll step into the cage.
Okay, let's run.
All right. Today's Into the Cage segment is proudly sponsored by Cole Von Cole's Catheters. Tired of having to get up and walk to the toilet every time you have to take a piss? Well, how about you get a Cole Von Cole catheter today? Just shove that bad boy up your urethra and let the laziness and failure flow right through the tube and into the disposable piss bag so you can keep sitting in your Barca-lounger 24/7 like the piece of human garbage that you are. You're in for a real treat with a Cole's catheter. I guarantee it. So visit www.colevonCole.com and use the promo code PP for number 1% off your first order. I read the last part. I got confused there for a second. Number 1% off. It's clever, Cole. Very clever. Get yourself a catheter. Have you ever gotten cathetered? for like a medical procedure or something, it's not fun. All right? It's not a good thing to have a tube shoved up your urethra like a goddamn savage, to have pee-pee drain into a bag right before your eyes. It usually means you're in a bad spot. So I don't recommend it. But if you need one, or if you're lazy, go check out Cole's catheters. Cole Von Cole. COLEVONCOLE. All right, the cage fact. This was actually sent to me by the Bone Crusher himself. He saw an article. He sent it to me. And now it's going to become a fact, a reality. So Nick Cage did an interview, shocker. And in this interview, they asked him when he was planning on retiring from doing film and just, live off the successes and riches and enjoy the rest of his life. And Nick Cage said he does not plan to ever retire. In fact, his direct quote was, "That can't happen." He actually says that he feels healthier and happier when he's working, when he's acting, and he just doesn't see himself ever leaving that sort of scene, that situation. Then he went on to talk about, he's like, what are we at, 117 movies now, still going strong? This kind of ties back into a fact from way back in the day when we talked about how he said he takes all these movies, not so much because he needs the money and he's struggling, but because he actually enjoys working and wants to just keep working no matter what the gig is. And this kind of ties into that, kind of backs up that story of his. So don't expect him to go away anytime soon, folks. I'm dead proud of that. So thank you, Nick. And that's the Cage fact. All right, moving on to the Junction. Spin the logo up. Now, I don't know how many of you are sports fans. I don't know how many of you, if you are sports fans, watch any of the New York sports going on lately, particularly the Giants and the Yankees. But, man, do they suck this year. Man, do they suck. I got back from training to go. I was going to go home, but then the opportunity presented itself to go to the Bone Crushers at Site Charlie and watch the Giants game against the Washington Foreskins, thinking this will be a good way to kind of end the week a little bit. They're playing a team that's more than beatable. They don't even have a goddamn team name. They can't even figure that shit out. Maybe they'll put up a fight, get a W, and they can go, into the weekend 1-1, batting 500, and, help their season a little bit. Boy, was I wrong. They lose to the Foreskins in one of the more embarrassing games I've seen in a while. Not because they played bad throughout and got dominated like they did last week. Last week, they got dominated by the Broncos. And thank God I only watched the highlights because it wasn't even close. They were not even close to winning that game. Anyway, this game, they lose in the last play after blunder after blunder after blunder. They gave the Foreskins the win. They gave it to them with mistake after mistake, bullshit after bullshit. And now they're 0-2 for the 5th straight year. Can you imagine a franchise that you own and your franchise is 0-2? They can't win their first 2 games for the 5 years straight. They have the worst record in all of NFL history over the past 5 years. Absolute embarrassment. The defense doesn't seem to exist at all when the game's on the line. If there's 4 minutes or less in the game, the defense just goes and sits on the bench, and they just put out, it's almost like they have a bunch of like the fans. Hey, you want to play like a bunch of Make-A-Wish kids? They throw jerseys on them, shoulder pads, and they throw them out there. Hey, stand there and look nice. Every single game, the defense is the most unclutch you can possibly imagine. Just giving it up to the fucking Foreskins. The nameless Washington Foreskins can't even figure out a name. They can't pick a name for themselves. And they're beating up on the New York Giants, who are supposedly supposed to be a good team. They've won 4 Super Bowls in their history, which is more than half the teams out there. I think they're like top 3 or 4 teams. It's like the Patriots, Steelers, Cowboys, Giants. Maybe the Packers are in there too. That's what it is. They're up there in the annals of history of being a top tier NFL team. And this is what they're doing. The missed catch. If you watch the game, I forgot the dude's first name. His last name's Slayton. He's usually pretty good. Game is on the line. They have a chance to seal the deal in the fourth quarter. The offense is actually on the field for once for a change. Wide open pass. He's got 20 yards between the defensive player. It was a blown coverage because Washington also sucks, mind you. They suck really bad. Okay, they have a no-name quarterback who's been a no-name for years. He's been a bench warmer for years. They don't have a team name. They suck. And they blew the coverage, shocker, because they suck. And he's 20 yards wide open. It's him, it's 20 yards, and then it's another football player 20 yards back. Not even close. Wide open touchdown pass off the fingertips of Slayton. Now, I wanted to get angry at him, but usually he's very good, and he's very reliable as a receiver. So this is a one-time mistake. Unfortunately, it was a very clutch time to make that mistake, and it was a very embarrassing one because anybody could have made that catch. And he's got those gloves on with the sticky on them. That should be probably illegal. I've tried those bad boys before in a flag football tournament. You can't miss in those gloves. Hot Hands Hanen would have caught that ball. Those gloves make you catch anything. Why do you think OBJ, what's his name? Odell Beckham Jr. catches all those one-handers? Because he's got the glue gloves on. Those things are legit. If you're dropping a pass in those gloves, you suck. It's on you. You made the mistake. Nobody else's fault but your own. Clifford Franklin would be creaming his pants if he had gloves like those out there. Be catching everything. Meanwhile, these guys can't catch a goddamn cold. They can't catch COVID. So embarrassing. I'm getting heated. I had to bring hydration with me. 20 yards. He was wide open. And they're blaming. Here's another thing, because I'm sweating already. Jesus Christ. They're blaming the poor bastard who supposedly went off sides at the end of the game. So I'll set the stage for you. The Foreskins are down by like 2 or 1. With no time left on the clock, they're in field goal range because, of course, the Giants just let them march down the field for the 3rd time in a row. They let them drive down the field 3 times in the last 4 minutes of the game. That's how bad the whole Giants organization is. The offense couldn't stay on the field for more than 22 seconds. They couldn't get the points they needed because their play calling is garbage and they're missing catches. And they're holding and getting penalties. And then they let the Skins, march down the field 3 separate occasions, all the way up and down the field. So they're there in field goal range. No time on the clock. Their field goal kicker, he's decent, I guess. Kicks it, and he's wide right. Misses it. So, of course, me and Crush are jumping up and down like a couple of schoolgirl idiots, thinking they won the game. Like, oh, I can't, what a miracle. They did it. But then they call poor Dexter Lawrence on offsides. And of course, I'm livid. I'm losing my shit. But in his defense, because this guy's getting worn out by the social media, the trolls, the haters out there. You look at the replay, and that guy moved as the ball was being hiked. He just got a crazy good jump, and they called it offsides, and that poor bastard got dicked over for it, and now they're blaming him for the loss instead of the fact that their defense sucks, their offensive line sucks, their run game was dog shit, penalties up the ass, can't catch with the glue gloves, and they're blaming poor Dexter Lawrence. And I'm sure they're going to blame the head coach too, even though he's not out there playing like a bag of shit. He can only do so much with the team he's got. At the end of the day, I always say the coaches get too much blame and not enough credit sometimes. Now, there are times when coaches really suck. Talk about Aaron Boone on the Yankees. Man, does he suck as a coach. He's got his tail constantly between his legs, just being ball bagged by Cashman and the Steinbrenner family. Just they're owning him. They just tell him what to do, and he's the puppet, and he just puts out the same players day in and day out. How many times does Gary Sanchez have to disappoint and suck for the Yankees before they get rid of him, release him? He's been leading the league in pass balls as a catcher since 2017. He's batting $160. He's not even batting his own fat ass weight. Figure that one out. He can't even bat over 200. He can't catch. He's leading the league in pass balls. And Boone keeps throwing him out there because that's what the puppet masters are telling him to do. Throw Gary out there. Throw that fat loser out there. Keep it going. So that's a coach who doesn't get enough blame. They should pour the blame on him. But Joe Judge of the Giants, he's going to get worn out for this one. 0-2, 5 years in a row. And I used to, because I know what you're thinking. You know, you never played before. You don't know what's going on over there. You don't have any experience, and you're shit-talking. You're being a shitty person, shit-talking strangers. And, you know, you're half right. I used to empathize with them players because they're humans. Maybe they're trying their hardest. Got family shit going on, whatever it is, whatever the reason why they continue to suck is, I was trying to give them the benefit of the doubt. Especially since you got millions of fans without a speck of athletic ability wearing them out day in and day out for sucking. I'm thinking to myself, you know, maybe there's something going on. I'll ease up. I won't dog on them too much. But let me tell you something. I've been an avid, experienced veteran football watcher for decades now. Since I was a kid. Watching NFL, watching Pee Wee football, watching recess football, watching college flag football. I told you about the flag football tournament I watched when I was in the trenches of warfare down at the beach. I used to play recess football with the fellas. I know what good football looks like. I've seen it. It's not this. These guys suck. And at least have a good attitude about it. They sit there with their thumbs up their asses, with this look on their face, their mouth breathing, slack jaw look like they have no idea why they're getting yelled at or booed constantly. It's because you guys are 2-14 every year. You suck dick at playing football. And you get paid millions of dollars for it. That's another mind-blowing thing. How do you justify your paycheck when you can't catch a wide-open pass or you can't block? You can't do shit. Nate Solder's getting paid like $15 million to suck dick at football. I'll take league minimum. You want me to suck? I'll do it for league minimum. Save you a couple bucks. Everyone's happy. Because you guys are getting screwed. The owners and the fans are getting screwed, spending their money watching this team collect their paychecks to suck. And I used to think Crazy Carol was the psychopath for going off on them every year, every single game. She's a monster. I could only imagine what she was. She must have killed. I think she killed my father last night. I didn't call home. I didn't. I wasn't calling them. I hope she went to bed and didn't watch the game because I'm pretty sure she would have killed my father. I haven't spoke to him in days. I'll send him a text after this, but he's been MIA since, and I think he got the wrath because she probably had enough of it. And I used to think she was the nut job for it. She's never played the sport in her life, yet she's the most unsatisfied fan in the entire galaxy. And if you don't believe me, you can go watch my old sports tapes of them filming me playing sports as a Ute, and you can hear in the background, oh, there's Johnny sucking it up again, watching the game go by, screaming at the coach to take me out. Never played baseball, never played soccer, never played football, basketball, no sports ever in her life. And if you don't bat 1,000 or win every game by 10 or more runs or score 52 goals, you're out. She wants your head on a platter. And I used to think she was being unreasonable. But I got news for you. I think the Giants should be put in jail now, too. I think she's right. They're so bad, they should all be put in jail. And that's the thing she used to say all the time. They should find them and put them in jail. This is despicable. And I thought she was a psychopath. And now listen to me. Going off on one. Just like her. And I have all this watching football viewing experience. And, of course, my time as a recess all-star. A Pro Bowler, if you will. So I know what shit looks like. And this is shit. And if you're a sports fan, you get what I'm saying. It's tough to watch guys get paid millions of dollars to not even be good at your job. Imagine you go into work and you look at the worst guys that you work with, the guys or gals, and they just really suck. They can't send emails out. They're lazy. They're doing nothing but taking smoke and donut breaks like fat, lazy pieces of garbage. Not a care in the world, no work ethic. They clearly don't even want to be there. They're not even trying hard. They just suck. Up and down the offices, they just suck at their jobs. Now imagine those same jabronis are getting paid millions of dollars to suck at their job. And they're not getting fired either. They're just getting thrown right back out there in the starting lineup at Kinko's or Office Depot or wherever you guys work. That would get you pissed off, right? You're out there trying every day, working hard. Just to see these guys just take a shit right there on the field day in and day out for years now. It's not just a fluke situation. They have gone on 0-2 for 5 straight years to start the season. That's unbelievably difficult to do. It is difficult to be that shitty of a sports team. And they're doing it. With ease, it seems like. It's like they don't even want to win. They're trying to be the worst. Maybe that's what they're getting paid for. Maybe that's why it's the same players year in and year out, pulling the same shit. Like, what are they looking at in the offseason? What are they doing in the offseason and the preseason, watching these guys practice and get ready and prepare? They can't possibly be looking at them play and be like, yeah, they're ready. This is the year. Because it's the same garbage. Now imagine that in your daily work life. Imagine you go to your job every day and you get the same garbage and they're still around. You have no idea why someone hasn't been fired, let go, canceled, whatever it is. Getting paid dollars on top of dollars on top of dollars to suck city. Now I know why Crazy Carol is so crazy and angry all the time. They belong in jail. They're stealing money from us. Every single one of them. Stealing right out of our pockets. I'm not paying $16 for a Coors latte at the stadium just to have it go to some guy, get a holding call, when the game's on the line. And then sit there like he had no idea what the hell's going on, or get mad when somebody yells at him and holds him accountable for sucking. That's another wild concept to me, is when people suck at something in life and someone holds them accountable and then they get mad at that. Get mad at being yelled at for being held accountable, responsible for their actions or inactions. Wild concept. And you see it right there every week. You see it with these damn Giants sucking it up, embarrassing the world themselves. But they don't even care. The Yankees, neither. They got murderers row on paper with their lineup, and they're leading the league in strikeouts. Nobody gives a shit. They just sit there and smile and collect their paychecks, millions and millions of dollars of endorsements and salary and bonuses, laughing all the way to the bank while we sit here and cry and bitch and moan and record podcast episodes about it, complaining about them. And I actually played baseball, so I know what it definitely looks like to actually be a good ball player, because I've seen it out on the field when I would watch those guys play on my team. I know what a good ball player looks like. These guys also suck. How do you strike out 300 times in a year? Yogi Berra played a full 20-year career and struck out only like 400 total times in 20 years. Figure that one out. Aaron Judge has more strikeouts already than Yogi did in his entire career. Gary Sanchez, I can't tell you how much he sucks. One of the worst ball players in the league right now, and he's still playing. Brett Gardner getting $4 million to do steroids and not be able to fit into his helmet because his head is exploding out with the steroids, and the guy swings like a rusty gate. Gets picked off constantly. One of the stupidest base runners around because he's got all the steroids in his head and no more brains. He's getting paid $4 million this year, folks. Imagine getting paid $4 million to suck at something. That sounds like a dream, right? Why do you think these guys are so happy they keep losing and doing terrible out there? They don't care. They're getting paid $4 million a year to do it. I'd kill for that job. I don't have to do anything. Are you going to pay me that much money? Where do I sign? Now I feel for these other fans of these other shitty teams out there. The Cubs fans for decades. I hate the Cubs, but I feel bad for their fans. 100 plus years of them sucking. The Lions, their team is never going to be good. Holy shit, do they suck. I get it. I understand now. I used to not care as much, but I got nothing else going for me right now besides my dying tomatoes and sports. So I care now. I'm getting on the crazy train with Crazy Carol, and you're going to hear about it all throughout the rest of this season. I promise you that. But before I have a heart attack or seize out or something, I'm going to cut it there. Because I'm angry and I'm hungry and I just Grubhubbed some food because I'm a lazy piece of shit right now. I'm going to toss my catheter in my urethra and I won't have to get up the rest of the night. So that'll be good at least. But before we go, obviously, we got to talk about the big three important things in life. Now, for those of you who first-time listeners, the big three are the big three things that I think that are the most important things to do each day to make yourself a happier, more positive, less stressful human being in your life, and then be able to project that out and have that spill over into other people's lives. So first one, exercise every day. Anything. Get out there and move. There was a clip. If I find the clip, I'll cut it, I'll clip it out, and I'll put it on my Instagram page for you guys to see separately. It's a clip from Jocko Willing's podcast that he did an episode with Theo Vaughn. So you guys know how I feel about both of those individuals. I listen to their podcasts. And Theo was on Jocko's podcast, and they were talking about the importance of exercise, because Theo was saying how, he hasn't been exercising lately because he got hurt. He broke his ribs doing jiu-jitsu, and he needs to get back into it because physical fitness was helping him mentally and emotionally. He wasn't able to think straight and be happier in his life because he wasn't able to do any working out and physical fitness, any sort of physical activity. So I'm going to clip that. They said it way more eloquently than I can ever do because I'm an idiot and I got marbles in my mouth, so I can barely talk. So I'll clip it and I'll put it out there for you. So stay tuned for that. But it's an important thing, and everybody sees it. Exercise every day. That's it. Number 2, the hardest one to do. And I know because I just spent the last, I don't know how many minutes not doing it. Shit talking strangers. Now, I know most of it is in jest for me. Obviously, I obviously don't hate these people as individuals. I never even met them. But I am going to shit talk them if they suck at football because I am an experienced football watcher. I know what I'm talking about. But number 2, don't be a shitty person. It's the hardest one to do. Before you go out there and act like a serious, legitimate dickhead or asshole or mean person or bully to somebody else, whether it's in person or online, remember that they're a human being with human being feelings and experiences and other shit going on in their lives. All the different stressors and bullshit and things you had to deal with in your life. Remember that somebody has to deal with something just like that in theirs. Sometimes it's even worse. We don't know for sure. And you never know when your shitty comment could be the straw that breaks the camel's back and sets that person spiraling into something dark and deep and sad. You never know. So think about that before you go and just be a shitty person to somebody who you think, oh, it's just on the computer, it's just on the twit. Be a text message tough guy, and it's not going to be a big deal. They won't even see it. It's whatever. But remember what I said before. Here's the thing about that. 2 things. 1, if they do see it and that sends them over the edge. What ledge, you idiot? That's got to be a bad day for everybody. And number 2, if they don't see it, guess who does see it? The people in your life that follow you on social media or in real life or hanging out with you and see you acting like this and treating other people that way. That's what you're projecting out. That's what they're going to see. Not the stuff you say you do behind the scenes. Don't worry, I'm a good person. I'm a gentleman. I'm a this, I'm a that. They see through the actions. So if you're just putting shit posts out in social media land, that's what people are going to see. They're going to think you're shitty. And you don't want that because now they're making probably incorrect assumptions about you. And then here comes the cyberbullying on your end. And it's a vicious cycle of negativity that we're trying to avoid. We're trying to spread the positive, not the negative shit. So don't be a shitty person. Number 3, the most important one, be thankful and grateful for all the good you have in your lives. And take advantage of it. Show those people, show those important people and things or whatever, all the good that you have. Show that you're grateful for it. Be present for them. Hang out with the friend that asks you. Pick up the phone when somebody calls you. You really don't think you want to talk to them. Make the time. That's how you show someone that you're grateful. You don't just say, I'm grateful, and that's it. And then go about your business being a shitty person. Show them. Be good to them. Be good to yourself. And if you do these 3 things, I'm telling you, eventually it's going to become part of your ethos. It's going to be part of your lifestyle. It's not going to be 3 things on a list to check off every day. It's just going to be done. It's going to be muscle memory. It's going to be your life. It's going to be physically fit, exercising, not being shitty, and being grateful for everything good in your life. That's just going to be your existence. And it's going to spill over to the other people in your lives as well. And that's what we want to spread. We don't want to spread the negativity like people have been these past couple years. We want to spread the positive, okay? We want to push to the right. We want to spread the positive. We want to stay strong. That's what it all means, folks. So don't forget that. The big three. Thank you guys for listening. All 25 of you or whoever it is. The ride or dies. Love it. I love it. I'll do this. I'll say it 1,000 times. I'll do this to the day I die with only those 25 to 40 listeners or viewers or whatever it is, because you're the most supportive, honest, ride or die sons of bitches in the junction. And I'll never forget you. I really won't. So thank you again for listening. I love you all. Stay strong.